Hey y'all, welcome to, or welcome back to our very bookish channel. I am so excited to get into this vlog. So I've been reading a lot of fantasy books lately. Onyx Storm came out in January and I have just been consumed with fantasy books. I've been focusing on dragon books. I have just been in such a fantasy mood, but I am ready. I am ready to mix it up. In this vlog, we are going to be reading 2 mystery thriller arcs. The first one we're going to be reading is Parents' Weekend by Alex Finlay. This book is coming out on May 5th, and Alex Finlay wrote If Something Happens to Me, and Jen and I both read that book, and I know I really loved that book. I remember Jen really liking the book too. So we are both really excited to be able to get an early copy of this and start reading right away. In this book, you're following... Hi, friend. In this book, you're following some college students and their parents, and there's 5 college students that are attending a small school in Northern California, and the parents come in town for Parents' Weekend, where the parents get to come visit the school, check on their kids, all of that kind of fun stuff. And the parents apparently show up for this dinner at Parents' Weekend, and the kids, just none of the kids show up. So the parents are starting to get worried. And on the back of this book, it says that told through multiple points of view in past and present, and marking the return of FBI Special Agent Sarah Keller from Every Last Fear and The Night Shift. So apparently there is an FBI agent in this book that appears that has been in some of his previous books. I have not read Every Last Fear or The Night Shift, so I have no idea about this character. I hope that it's not something that you have had to have read the other books before. It doesn't sound like it's something you need to have read before, at least in the description. It just seems like a book that has a character he likes that is appearing in his other books. But now I'm really curious to read Every Last Fear and The Night Shift. Like, I feel like I should read some of his backlist now. But in this vlog, we are only going to read this book, but maybe I'll read some more of his books and then we can talk about them in a wrap-up video or in another vlog. But in this vlog, we're going to jump right into Parents' Weekend, and I can't wait. It is a very cold, snowy day. We got a lot of snow yesterday, and I will turn the camera around and show you guys some pictures of the snow outside of my house. But it is really cold, and I want nothing more than to curl up, put some soft jazz on the TV, light a candle, and get comfy and read this book.
Starting our vlog for 2 arcs that we're reading, Alex Finlay and The Parents' Weekend. We have physical arcs for this, and we also have electronic arcs for Lisa Jewell's Don't Let Him In. We decided we're going to read the Alex Finlay one first, and I am going to do my best, but I have been constantly sleeping and trying to get better from the surgery that I got. When I got the Parents' Weekend one, it came with one of these newsletters that have like a bunch of blurbs from people I think that have read it and were giving some rave reviews. And one of them said, "The twister nonstop, Finlay's name on the cover guarantees a great read." And another one said, "Finlay proves once again that he is a master of his craft." And Geneva Rose actually said that. And I recently read her thriller, Perfect Marriage. And Laura Dave said, "A riveting thriller with a twist that you won't see coming." So this is what... Sometimes they send like promotional material when you get these advanced reading copies, and it just kind of goes over what the book is, how it's going to be promoted, and some rave reviews from people who have already read it. I'm going to start it and see how this goes. I'm hoping that it's as readable. I read his other one called If Something Happens to Me, and I'm pretty sure Amanda read it after I did, and I did an ARC review for it, and I felt like it was a very fast-paced thriller. I would agree that a lot of things are happening. I definitely feel like that embodied a fast-paced thriller for sure. It's gonna have to be because I am definitely between napping and taking the medicine and needing to just like lay down and heal. I am gonna need something that keeps my attention. So we'll see how this goes. I'll let you guys know after I have read some and tell you what I think.
Hey y'all. I am bringing you guys along with me. I have some errands to run. It is extremely cold outside. It has been snowing all morning. It's been kind of going between flurrying and then fluffy snowflake downpour and then back to just flurrying a little bit. But regardless, it has been steadily snowing all morning. So I really like to see the pretty snow, but it just makes me want to stay home. I don't want to go out when it's snowing and cold. Anyways, I am forced to go out in the world because I need my contacts. I had my eye doctor appointment to do my annual exam a couple of weeks ago, and they had to order my contacts. I guess they just don't keep enough of them in the office or something. I don't know, but they had to order them. And they gave me some trials, to take home. And I have been wearing those trials out, and I need some new ones. So I have to go get some contacts from Sam's Club. And I have to run to the grocery store because we're having tacos for dinner tonight. Jay loves tacos. I honestly think he would eat tacos 4 days a week if I would make them. And then I was kind of in the mood to find a local maybe coffee shop or something to go to where I can just kind of get warm and cozy and read a little bit. So we'll see. I don't know. I'll have to probably Google map some coffee shops in the area. I don't want to go to like a Starbucks or something. I don't want like that kind of vibe. I want like a local independent coffee shop type of vibe. And of course, I'm bringing you all along with me. Now, for my book update, I have read the first section of the book. So it's broken down into a prequel, a very short prequel, and then there's day 1, day 2, day 3. I read all of day 1, so I'm at chapter 18, which starts day 2. And so far, I've felt overwhelmed. There's a lot of characters that you need to know. There are 5 students and their parents and an FBI agent that I'm not sure how she's gonna fit in the story. And there has been a girl that has gone missing. Of course, there has been new developments in the story. For the first night, they have a dinner where parents are supposed to have dinner with their kids, and all of the kids don't show up. So the parents are starting to get a little concerned. At first, they're just brushing it off like, oh, well, they always flake out on us, or they probably all decided to go to a party, something like that. But obviously, we know it's going to be more. It's going to be something else. So I'm wanting to get into starting day 2 today and seeing where that takes us as far as what's happening with these kids and what's going on. I don't really have any guesses as to what's going on. I mean, based on the prologue, the kids are kind of up to something. Like, they are keeping some big secret, but I really don't know if it has to do with the girl that's missing, or if it has to do with their parents, or what's going on. I don't know. I'm feeling like I'm not trying to figure this book out. I kind of just want to read and enjoy and go along for the ride and not try to figure out what's going on, just kind of see where this book takes me. So that's kind of the vibes I'm getting from this book so far. But I'm hoping that day 2 I will start getting more familiar with all these characters and who they all are, because it is a little overwhelming and a tad bit confusing keeping them all straight in the beginning.
Hey guys, I am only 4 chapters in, and I'm already getting exhausted with how many characters there are in this, and I might be on character overload after Onyx Storm and how many were being flung at me in that book, but this one is following a lot of people. There's a lot of parents and a lot of students, and you're also seeing the dean. So I am hoping in all of the, obviously I'm on medication after my surgery, making it harder to, I think, retain some of these details. I'm hoping that I'm able to follow along, but just came on to complain about how many characters there are in this book. The plot line's already moving very fast though, which I can appreciate because there's already a body that's turned up, well, I'm saying a murder, but you don't know it's a murder. I'm assuming it's a murder. And it's only 4 chapters in, so you know things are moving fast. I have a feeling this whole book will probably move fast. I will let you guys know more thoughts after I get into it some more.
All right, y'all, so I just pulled up to the grocery store. I'm at a Giant Eagle. I got my contacts, nothing exciting there. I just went in, got my contacts, didn't really do any shopping at Sam's Club, but I need to run in here. I don't know if y'all want to come along with me. It's just a grocery store. It's not too exciting, but maybe it'd be fun. I don't know. I'll bring you in and see. We'll see what happens. Y'all, just got out of the grocery store. It's still cold. If you want a little haul, I got 2 of these. They did not have organic chicken, and I really like to buy organic meats, but they didn't have any organic chicken. In fact, the ground chicken wasn't even with the chicken. It was with the ground pork. I don't know. Anyway, so it took me a minute to find it, and then I got lettuce, and then I got some peeled garlic because I always want to use fresh garlic, but every time I buy like a clove of fresh garlic, I never end up using it all, and then I just have to throw it out. But if the garlic is peeled and everything, you can freeze it. So what I'm planning to do is just be lazy, and instead of buying a clove of garlic and then peeling it myself and freezing it, I just bought this little bag of garlic that's already peeled, because I don't know if you all have like cooked with garlic before, but it gets like sticky kind of when you cut it up and try to peel it, and the little fine peels are everywhere, and I don't know, it just gets messy. So I just got lazy and decided to buy a bag of the peeled garlic. So I'm going to use what I need and then freeze the rest for the next time I need to use it. Now the fun part, I get to find a nice cozy, hopefully warm, maybe by a little fireplace cafe to do some more reading in. So let's go, y'all.
I have a sort of update. Usually in our vlogs, we are taking you along sometimes to shopping and all of that, but since I'm going to be stuck in the house for a little more time, I don't know, it's gonna probably be another week maybe. There's not gonna be much for me to include in here that's gonna be of interest. Though I did get flowers today. So it was exciting when I got flowers dropped off, and that was something that brightened my day from people I work with. I was very appreciative of that. But it's gonna be up to Amanda to bring all of the extra trips and such to the vlogs, because I won't be doing much of anything. In terms of a reading update, I am around like 100 pages, and I don't want to keep just complaining about all of the characters, but I feel like it's especially hard for me right now to keep up with everybody, because it's hard for me to concentrate on the medicine I'm on and the pain and trying to get comfortable to read. And because there are so many characters, there's definitely a lot going on. It is high action. There's a lot of different developments happening. You're getting a lot of information. So I don't have any theories right now. I'm just holding on for my life, trying to pay attention and know what's going on. So no, I don't have any theories at all. It'll be probably towards the end, maybe I'll start to see, okay, maybe this is what's really going on, or if there are any plot twists. But yeah, that's my sort of update. I will let you guys know if there's anything else that I'm going to try and keep the complaining about all the characters and me not being able to concentrate to a minimum. So I'll catch you guys on the next update.
All right, y'all, reading update time. I am almost done with Parents Weekend. I'm on chapter 58, and I wanted to pause here and give you all some updates. So starting on day 2, as it's designated in the book, I started to get more familiar with the characters and keeping them all straight, so that kind of cleared up itself. If you feel like when you're reading this book you can't keep the characters straight, just keep reading, and the more you read and understand the characters, the easier it will be for you to remember who is who, if that makes sense. So it got easier, and I just finished chapter 57, where we got the point of view of one of the kids that is missing, and it's pretty much clarified what I think is gonna happen. So I feel like after getting that point of view and the information from that character, I know how the book's gonna end. It's just a part, it's just, I have to read it out, okay? There might be a few surprises, but it's becoming very clear what is going on here. So let me finish the book. And then after I finish this book, I'm gonna have some more time, I think, to start reading None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I am gonna be reading that on my Kobo because I was able to get None of This Is True from Edelweiss, and I've been able to transfer my books from Edelweiss onto the Kobo. So let me pull it up here to show you guys. So I have None of This Is True on my Kobo. And in a previous vlog, I did mention I was looking at getting an e-reader, and I had a few people comment, so thank you so much for responding back to me. I guess the majority of people went with a Kindle. They said they had a Kindle and they love the Kindle, but I just decided to get the Kobo. Actually, my husband bought this for me. I was still on the fence about it, and I guess he got tired of me being indecisive on the fence, and then I was like, do I need to spend $220? So he bought it for me. So thanks to my husband, I have this Kobo, and I absolutely love it. I did decorate it. I got a case for it, and I put a pop socket and my stickers that Jen got me through Christmas and birthday presents, and just some of the stickers on the back here. So I love it so much. In fact, right now it's my preferred method of reading. It's so much easier to sit here and hold this. I can hold it with one hand. It's very light. I can just sit here and push the buttons to turn the pages. It's very easy. So I am loving it. So enough of that. Back to finishing this story out and then starting Lisa Jewell's Don't Let Him In.
I am about 200 pages in. There's still a lot going on. I feel like there's too much going on. I know I've already said I'm not going to complain about the amount of characters, but they keep coming across what they consider leads as to who's behind the disappearance of these kids. And it's like many different things going on with each set of the parents, and they get a lead and they go investigate it, and it doesn't seem to be connected to the disappearance, but it keeps happening. And one of the characters literally just said, have you ever had this many leads come up and go nowhere, or something like that? I feel like it's being done just to throw the reader around and for us not to guess what's really going on. Sometimes it just feels like that. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. Eventually we will find out what's going on with what really happened to these kids. I'll be back. All right, I finished Parents' Weekend. There were several, I guess you would call them twists at the end, but I feel like a couple people that I had a feeling were going to end up being part of what was really happening. And there were a couple people I actually thought that were going to have more of a plot twist or be involved and weren't. But you end up guessing, I think, a lot of people when you're reading thrillers. And so I thought it was very enjoyable. I liked it a lot. Definitely kept me interested and invested all the way to the end. So I can give you more thoughts and talk more about it during final thoughts. But now I am headed to my tablet, though I'm not exactly thrilled about that part. But Don't Let Him In by Lisa Jewell. I'm about to start this one. I know Amanda has started it, and I remember her saying something about it, but I can't remember what. She had to put it down for a while, I think. So I don't know what that means, but I'm about to find out. I will let you guys know what I think shortly.
All right, y'all. Gather around, get close. Got some things to talk about. One, I'm at a Best Buy because I have to buy a new computer. My laptop is about 5 years old, and I've known for a while I need to get a new computer, but this morning I was editing some videos for y'all and I started to smell like electrical burning smell, and it's a very distinct smell. So if you know what it smells like, then it's very obvious what it is. I turned the computer off. I waited a little bit. I turned it back on. I was able to get finished what I was working on, but I started to smell the electrical burning again, and I don't want my computer to completely crap out on me because I have some things saved on it that I need to back up. So I turned it off, and Jay said, just go to the store and get a new computer. You have known you're going to need a new computer for a little while. So, because 5 years old for a laptop is kind of old. So here I am at Best Buy, getting ready to get a new computer. Second of all, I have an update for Don't Let Him In. I am on chapter 13, I think. Let me check. I do have it right here. I'm on chapter 13. And I am struggling with this book. This is about 15% in. So we are a, decent chunk into the book. We're 15% in. To me, 15% in, you kind of have a feeling about, what kind of book this is. So I am 15% in and I'm struggling, y'all. This is hard because there are so many things that I like about this book. I really like the idea that Lisa Jewell has had for this book. I really like where I think the plot is going. I really like the fact that this bad person in the book, the stalker guy, if you will, the psycho, you get his point of view, and it is told in first person point of view. All the other point of views, all the other characters that you're following, their stories are told from a third person point of view. So I really like switching that up. I really like feeling like you're in the head of this psycho that you're following in the book. What I don't like and what I'm really struggling with is you're switching point of view characters frequently. Every other chapter you're getting a new point of view character, and the chapters aren't very long, so you're constantly switching point of view characters, and all of the characters you're following are very similar. They're all middle-aged age group. They all have children in the same teenager-ish age group. They all have issues with their marriage and relationships, and it's just a little bit confusing who you're following. It's not a seamless transition. There is no indication on the top of the chapter. Let me switch to one real quick. There's no indication on the top of the chapter who you're following. You just get a chapter number and then you start reading. And for some chapters, you have a name right away. So you kind of know who you're following right away. If you can remember which set of characters this person belongs to. But on some of them, I feel like I have to read a chapter before I really understand whose story that I'm getting into. And then I have to go back and remember what was happening in their lives compared to what was happening in everyone else's lives, because I don't want to get the characters confused. It's slowing down my reading. It's making it very difficult for me to sludge through. I feel like I'm just have weights on my feet and I'm trying to trek through sand getting through this book. And that sounds harsh, and it's not really meant to be. It's more of a, it's a me, not you thing. It's definitely just me and the way that I like to read books. Also, if you notice, the chapter that I am on, chapter 13, it says 4 years earlier. So you are jumping back in time. So not only am I struggling with identifying right away which character I'm following and what their family problems are, you have to go back 4 years in time and then remember that this happened before your current timeline, and you're following the characters, so you have to jump back in time and try to remember who you're following and figure out what you're following and then relate it to what's currently going on and try to differentiate between the families. So for me, that's not a fun time. That's not a fun book. This isn't a book that's structured for me. That being said, I like Lisa Jewell's writing. I had such a good time, and none of this is true. It really hurts me to say I'm not having a good time in this book. I hate DNFing books. I am going to have to DNF this one, though, because I don't want to go in a reading slump, and I don't want to feel like slowed down. I just want to read books that I love. I think everyone feels that way, and it hurts me to say it, because especially ARCs, I feel so lucky to be able to get my hands on early copies of books, and I want to love them all. But unfortunately for me, this is just a book that's not set up for me to read. That being said, I do think that a lot of other people are really going to have a good time with this book. I do think it's a good book. I do want other people to read it, and I am very anxious to hear what Jen's thoughts are on this book. But as far as Don't Let Him In goes, I'm going to let Jen finish up the vlog, and I hope that Jen reads it and really has a good time.
I have an update. I read about 60 pages of Lisa Jewell's Don't Let Him In. And I read it last night on my tablet, and I made the mistake of going to sleep and not putting it on its charger. So I don't like when the percentage is low. I feel like it's this like ticking clock of when I'm gonna run out of charge. So it's okay. I am feeling kind of sluggish today anyway, and not as much energy. I'm going to take this opportunity and listen to an audiobook and lay down. So I'm not trying to figure out the best way to hold my tablet while I am in a position that's not painful. And I'm still trying to feel better after surgery. So I think this will be a better plan for today. And once it's charged, I can continue reading tonight. What I wanted to talk about, though, with the 60 pages that I did read is I really like Lisa Jewell's writing. I was texting with Amanda today because I told her that something about her writing makes me get like pulled in and almost lulled into this story. But Amanda had the opposite reaction with Lisa Jewell, and I'm sure she'll say in her own segment, she mentioned that she had to DNF it. And I can't blame her. I feel like she and I need to DNF more, because I feel we shouldn't be pushing ourselves to read something we're just not interested in. And to me, it's never against the book, or at least for me, a lot of the times it's the mood I'm in. Sometimes there are books, I can think of a couple that there are books that I would feel I was DNFing because I just didn't like it. And I don't feel like I was ever going to be in the mood to write it. It's just didn't feel like good writing to me, but I would say those are few and far between. Those aren't often that I run into those books. It is a different pace, and coming off of Parents Weekend with Alex Finlay, that one was very fast paced, and there were so many characters, in my opinion, that now jumping into a story that's much slower paced and you're just getting some information, at least that's how I'm reading it. Amanda feels that there are a lot of characters that you had to still kind of keep track of. I don't feel the same, but it might be perspective, because I just felt like there were so many in Alex Finlay's book. And because there were like 6 or 7 students, not to mention all of their parents, plus the dean, plus the dean's secretary. I mean, there were so many characters in that story. So with this one being a slower pace and you're just getting information, I think she probably just wasn't in the mood for it, but I don't plan on DNFing. I think I'm going to keep going, at least so far. I feel like that. And this one is about, so you are getting a perspective of a man, and you don't get, I can see her frustration because you're not getting the whole story. He's not telling you everything. You can tell there's definitely more to his story, and his is in first person narrative. And from what I can tell, he is trying to manipulate women and steal their money. And then you see a perspective of several different women, and you don't really know which is which. So I can say that is probably what frustrated her. The one woman that you do know is the wife of a man named Patty, and he was pushed onto train tracks and killed. I would say that that was murder, but they don't really have information as to who that was that did that or anything else. I think you're getting the perspective from this male narrator that is hopping from woman to woman and taking their money. I think he might have been the one that murdered Patty. And then a year later, his wife, and I'm forgetting her name, but Patty's wife, you see his wife and her daughter, their daughter, she's 20 something and living at home with, still living at home in this beautiful house that they describe. She starts dating this man, and I don't know if it's just me making assumptions, or I read thrillers so much that I'm connecting dots when you're not really told to connect the dots yet. And maybe it is a trap. Sometimes writers like to make you go down a path and that's not really who that's going to be. But she starts dating this man that I think is the one that keeps dating women and taking money. And I also already think he might be the one that pushed. I know I shouldn't say theories because that's not being told to you directly, and that's just my theory right now. I can't really say later if I'm right or not, because again, that's just giving up the whole plot. That's what's going on in the first 60 pages so far. I'm gonna keep going. After tonight, I will let you guys know more updates, and in the meantime, I'm gonna go lay down and listen to an audiobook, but I will see you soon. Update, I just got to part 3. And there was a plot twist right before part 3. I don't know what it exactly means yet. I guess it is meant to snag you to wonder and propel you to keep reading. So I am definitely invested at this point. I'm enjoying it. I don't necessarily have theories other than my original ones that I've already talked about. The thing that I really don't like is the character of whoever his original name is, because he's been bouncing around aliases. So this character is just someone that, ugh, he's a horrible man. And the added bad thing is there are men out there that do this kind of thing and are like this, and that just sucks. So I'm gonna keep going. I will let you know any more updates if anything else happens. Another thing, picked up groceries and he got this treat that it is Reese's dipped animal crackers, and I didn't even know these existed, and they are quite tasty, as much as I shouldn't be eating them, but just thought I would. They're sitting next to me, so I thought I would show them to you. All right, I'll be back with more thoughts.
All right, y'all, it is wrap up time. This video is winding down, and I have some thoughts. First, Parents' Weekend by Alex Finlay. I enjoyed this book. I thought it was a decent thriller. I don't think it was earth-shattering or world-changing or anything like that, but I like Alex Finlay's writing. I really liked If Something Happens to Me. I thought that that was an excellent thriller. This one wasn't quite as good for me as If Something Happens to Me. The ending, I think, is not going to be for everyone. I think it ends realistically, but it's also not a happy ending for everybody. So, I have mixed emotions about the ending. I felt like all my questions were answered, but it doesn't leave you with just this happy-go-lucky feeling like you really want to end a book on. And that's okay. Not all books have to have happy endings. So it wasn't really the ending that I think made the book just not as good as If Something Happens to Me. I think the whole premise of the book, I think the things that go on in the book are slightly predictable, and I just thought it was all average. I think Alex Finlay has so much potential, and If Something Happens to Me was excellent, so highly recommend that one. I do recommend this one if you like thrillers. I'm glad I read it, and it was a good time while reading it, but it was just 3 stars. I just don't think it was something that I'm going to think about over and over again, or that's going to stick with me and last a long time. Now, on to the more uncomfortable conversation. I did DNF Don't Let Him In by Lisa Jewell, and it really hurts me to DNF books, y'all, and it hurts me even more to talk about it because I don't want to discourage anyone from reading the book. I don't want to put the author down. That's not what this YouTube channel is about. It's more about showing how fun reading is and showing what we love about reading and highlighting books that we love. So I really pains me to DNF books. And I just want to say that I DNF'd this book not because the writing's terrible, not because I hated the characters, not because of anything to do with any of that. It's just that I had a hard time getting into the book because it was difficult for me to process and read. The way the book is structured is hard for me to just enjoy reading. And that's a me thing. So if you all love Lisa Jewell, then please pick up the book. I think Jen liked the book, okay? I don't know at this point what Jen's going to say about the book, but I honestly think Jen said that she is liking the book so far. So I think Jen's going to like the book. So just 2 different perspectives here. Do hope that if you guys like Lisa Jewell, this does not deter you from picking up this new book when it comes out.
All right, guys, I finished Don't Let Him In by Lisa Jewell, and instead of recording right after I finished it, I definitely wanted to think about it a little bit because a lot happens in the last like 50 to 70 pages. And a lot was coming out, so I can't necessarily record because I can't talk about the specifics. And I wish Amanda would have read it all the way through, though I understand her shit when I read it, because I'm just curious as to thoughts about the ending. And I'm gonna try my best to talk about it without being too specific. I don't know how that's gonna go. Anyway, between the two, Parents' Weekend, and I read Lisa Jewell on my tablet, so I'm not going to pull it up. I'll just put a picture on the screen. Between the two, I would have to say that Lisa Jewell's Don't Let Him In, I enjoyed better. And it wasn't that there was anything unenjoyable about this one. It just seemed to be, I think after I read the first Alex Finlay, this one felt just very similar in how it was laid out, the fast pace. I don't feel like it did anything different per se. So though I enjoyed it, if there's anyone who loves a fast-paced thriller, a lot of action, especially if you like a lot of characters, this would be a book for you. Definitely a book for you. For Lisa Jewell's Don't Let Him In, I think I was craving that slower pace and building anticipation, and you're getting information, though I have to say in Don't Let Him In, the main character, and I think I said it in one of the recordings I did while I was reading it, and I don't know if I would call him the main character, but the man of the Don't Let Him In, he is just despicable. Like, he's not a likable character. He's not meant to be a likable character. He's one of the worst characters that I can remember in a book. He might be the worst. And you see his viewpoint. It goes between his viewpoint, and a lot of his viewpoint is in the past, because there's, like, I guess you would call it dual timelines. You start off 4 years ago, but every time you go back to his, it progresses in time until you get to current day. And then you see current day from Patty's wife and daughter, who kind of kick off everything that ends up happening at the end. Reading a character like him was, I would not say that part was enjoyable. You really want to, I don't know if I would say love to hate him, but there was definitely a lot of hate for this character and everything that he does to, in his words, I think he says, get forward in life and do what he needs to do to survive, is how he looks at it. And it was just frustrating to see his viewpoint a lot of time, because I feel you end up thinking like this is how that kind of man thinks and how he treats women, and it's not fun to have to see anybody justify horrible actions, just horrible actions. And I won't even get into the litany of everything he does, because part of that would end up being plot points, but he is just gross. But it didn't make me not like the book. I feel Lisa Jewell does a really good job of plotting things out and showing each of the characters and their perspectives and what's going on, and giving them a voice, even the horrible guy. But I think I've said before, the endings always end up making me feel a certain way about a book. And sometimes an ending will make me feel just mixed about the whole book. But I feel it was, I want to say, a satisfying ending. I don't know if that's the right word, but I feel it was a satisfying ending. And at first I didn't think it was going to be. And then Amanda probably shouldn't have read this book, because she would have been mad, especially since there's an epilogue. And the epilogue is where I felt things kind of like that last puzzle piece goes into place. And I feel it made me think that if some other writers had this story and what they would do with it, I feel like it could have went in a different trajectory and possibly made me very mad. And I won't say why. Those are the kinds of things I can't say, because I feel it would be saying too much information and would ruin it for anyone who wants to read this book. There was a part towards the end of Don't Let Him In, and I always love that point that you get the title and why it was titled the way it was. And for a while I just thought it was generic of like, he's a horrible person, don't let him in. But then there is a piece towards the end where there's a reason why it's called that. And I feel like Lisa Jewell, I want to see an interview with her, because I feel like she based this on real stories. I feel like she found a story, especially with how she named the book. She found it that way, and I can't say why, because I feel like it's too much of a plot point, but I feel like she found a story, or she saw something like this, and it gave her and spurred her to do this book. And I didn't see on my electronic ARC, there wasn't an author's note from her about this book. There was just general information about Lisa Jewell. So I do still have to look up and see if there was a specific reason why she wrote this. Since it doesn't come out until, oh God, now I forget when it's coming out. So it comes out June 24th, and I feel like it's still a while away. So I would definitely recommend hers. In comparison to None of This Is True, I feel it was similar in how it's like I guess I would call it slow burn. It is definitely giving you a lot of information, and I don't feel like there are quick plot twists. There's definitely plot twists between each part. I think there were 6 parts in total. And there's definitely more characters, I feel, in this one. So depending on how you feel about that, but I thought it was less characters than Parents' Weekend. So I guess it's perspective. And I didn't feel like once you get invested, I didn't feel like it was hard to follow. Sometimes it would be a little hard because there'd be a woman's name. I'm like, okay, which one is she? And so there was a little bit of that, but I didn't feel like it was too much, in my opinion. I feel like they're about the same. I wouldn't say I liked one or the other of the 2 Lisa Jewell books. Both times it didn't bother me that it was a slowish burn. But for those of you who aren't looking for that, and I know we all look at books differently, so there might be someone who reads it and thinks it's too slow. There might be someone else that reads it and thinks even more highly than I do about it. It's just the way we all look at books. But I do recommend it. I do feel like anyone who likes those elements would end up really enjoying it. I even started to think it was going to edge out None of This Is True. I think they're about equal. I don't think I would pick one over the other. I felt like both were really well done books. Both to me were 4-star books. Pretty sure I gave None of This Is True 4 stars and not 5 stars. Because I remember when I first read that, I was over a year ago, and I had COVID at the time, and I really enjoyed it because I was shut up in a room and just reading, and that's when I discovered Sophie Cousins as well. And I enjoyed both of the books that I was reading while I had COVID. Probably my most favorite part about this book is, I often do enjoy when there are shorter chapters and it is going at a faster pace. But I also like the investigative portion of this. You got a chance, one of the characters, and you get to see more of her perspective. I would say like half to the end of the book. Her name is Sarah Keller, and I really enjoyed her character and her character's family and seeing all the things that she does to investigate. I really am very interested in those kinds of books and how you see a police or detective look at evidence and look at what they need to do and figure things out. There's something about that just scratches something in my brain. I think I just really want to be an investigator. I love those kinds of things. It might have been reading Nancy Drew when I was younger, but that was probably my favorite part about this book. I wasn't as interested in some of the parents. I do feel the ending, it wasn't predictable per se. I think I just read a lot of thrillers, but I feel like it didn't come out of left field. There were some elements I didn't guess, but I didn't feel like they were shocking. But there, again, I've said this in other reviews, that if it's a first-time thriller reader and they're reading this, it might blow their mind. It's just, I think it's all the perspectives of how we're going into a book and how we see it. So there's that. But I do feel like this is a very fast-paced thriller. I would recommend this one as well. I enjoyed reading both of them. I thought both of them were very enjoyable to me, and I was happy that we had a chance to read both of them. So if we didn't say it in the beginning, thank you to Simon & Schuster and Macmillan. Macmillan was for Parents' Weekend, Simon & Schuster is for Lisa Jewell. But thank you so much for the opportunity to read these. I enjoyed both of these a lot. And also thank you guys for watching what our thoughts are on both of these books. I would suggest putting them both on your TBR to check out once they come out. And then you can always let us know what your thoughts are. You can always leave comments on our videos. You can also email if you want as well. And I love discussing books, so email us at any time to let us know your thoughts too. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for lots more content that we're going to have March and April. And until next time.